I believe, using a use of force.
Well, Mo, help me understand the situation. So the officers came up to both sides of the vehicle, asking for ID. What happened on George's side of the vehicle that made the officers run after there? Over there? Do you remember?
I do. I remember hearing a loud, like the object of a blunt force, some large object, whatever the officer had in his hand. Again, I'm turned because I'm taking care of the officer that's on my side. I can only hear this. And once I hear this loud distraction of this officer trying to break George's window, then he's demanding things, and I can hear George asking him, what did he want him to do?
So he's asking him. So George wasn't saying, "Get away from the car, leave me alone. I'm not going to get out."
No,
Nothing like that.
no, not at all. No, in fact, he was only asking. He said, "What do you want me to do?" The officer started George first of all by bluntly banging on the window. Once he done that, then I can see Mr. George putting his hands above the steering wheel of the vehicle. And once he did that, then I witnessed the officer reaching in and grabbing Mr. Floyd's hands.
Now, when they grabbed George's hands and put him behind his back, in the videotape, it seemed like it took a long time to get him out of the car. What was happening during that time?
He was asking them questions. They asked him, "Let me see your hands." George showed them his hands over the steering wheel. And when he did that, the officer reached in and grabbed his hands. Now, keep in mind, he did start him by, like, he was trying to break the window. Open the door, he demanded. What I believe, the energy was set wrong by the police when they approached him, because they approached with, like, an energy where it started Mr. Floyd. That's what I believe. And he was just trying to defuse the situation as humbly as he could. The man asked him, "What do you want him to do?" Mr. Joyce, and then the cop said, "Put your hands up. Show me your hands." Floyd showed him hands, put his hands in the air as a sign of, "Here go my hands. I'm not moving in the vehicle. I'm not trying to flee or no."
George was saying things like that. George was saying things like, "I'm good. I'm not going to do anything. Here it is." He was speaking that way.
By action, by showing him that here's my hands over the steering wheel. When he shows his hands and put them over the steering wheel, the cop reached in and grabbed his arms.
Got it.
When he grabbed his arms, George asked the cop, "Why are you grabbing me with the useless force? Why are you doing this? You asked to see my hand. Here go my hands." He's a big fellow. Now, as a cop, one officer is tussling with George's hands while George is still sitting in a peaceful form. He's in his vehicle, and the cop it's like it seems as if he was trying to pull him out or something. I can't really,
Did you hear them telling George to get out of the car?
No, I just I witnessed and remember the officer then from my side taking off to his partner's side.
Right.
Now it's two cops on George's side.
Did you hear they started shouting "gun"? Or the reporting was that they thought someone may have a gun, and that's why there was an urgency. Did anybody in the vehicle have a weapon?
No, they didn't find a weapon. They detained the car. So, I mean, if there was a weapon involved, you guys, I'm sure it would have came out.
There's no weapon.
All right, no, thank you, Ashley. And also, the reason I'm asking is, Counselor, and obviously, it's an obvious question, Mo, because the idea of, did they ask George, "Do you have a gun?" and he didn't answer? Or was there anything that you remember that gave an officer any reason to believe that there was a weapon?
No, sir. At this point, once they reached for Mr. George Floyd's hands, it took the whole situation into a turmoil that didn't have to be. All George was doing was just trying to stay humble and trying to be relaxed as possible. And once they dragged him out the vehicle and he stood up, the cop that was on his side, those two cops, I don't know, they was intimidated maybe. I don't know what they were thinking at the time, but George, he then was in peaceful form. He retreated to his knees saying, "Hey man," in so many words, I've been hurt. I've been hurt, officer. Please, officer. In other words, like, why are y'all detaining or using such force right now with me. I mean, here I am.
So we don't see George. We don't see George fighting in the video. We see the officers taking him out. It's a little bit of a tussle in the car to get him out. That's why I'm asking you those questions, how it went. Then we see him sitting on the ground by the store where you guys were. And there's time passing, and they're talking. What was that about? Do you remember?
They had me detained at that time on the other side, as you said. I could see and witness across the street and hearing him talking, and I witnessed other cops still down and like, to me, I could see him taunting.
Chris, are you talking about before they crossed the street?
Yeah, Counselor, remember how, like in the video, I don't know how much of it you've digested at this point, but
Yes.
one of the questions here, Counselor, is why it took so long. You know what I mean? Whatever they were doing in the store, whatever they felt the call was about and what the stop was about, you know, the job is to arrest these guys if they think they have probable cause and take them away. But this took such a long time that has never made sense. And that's why I'm asking this way, Counselor. So if you can help me along with it, that's great. But Mo, my point is, they could have, once they pulled him out of the car, they could have put you in a cruiser and taken you away if they thought they had probable cause for arrest. But they didn't.
Correct.
That's
They
right.
they corralled me, and then they was only focused on George, Mr. George, which he was doing a peaceful protest. He was in his homeless home. He's on the ground.
And Chris, from what Mr. Hall has told me from the beginning, this, you know, as he set the stage, Mr. Floyd was shocked by this when they came to his car. So he was trying to gather what was happening. He was trying to figure out what was going on, what did they want. He continued to tell them that he was not resisting, doing what they wanted him to do, and trying to figure out what it was about. You saw within seconds, really, of approaching the car, they put him in handcuffs, and then led him across.
Right.
You know, my client will tell you, he said, you know, I've been hurt before. Please, what is this about?
Right. So, Counselor, we're showing right now, just so you understand, we're showing like kind of 3 moments in. Okay, you have let's look at moment 1.